It's my privilege now to call upon our Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Karlinsky, to speak a few words.
It's going to be a hard act to follow, as they say, come back down a little bit from being way up there. I just want to start my words by mentioning the hole, the gap that we have here, the fact that Rabbi Farber is not with us. And I'm also going to mention the fact that one of Farber's closest friends and a person that was very responsible for helping to build the yeshiva is also not with us after many years, Rabbi Yellen, Zichrono Livrocha. Those two are watching from above and seeing what this tzibur is, each of them knowing what a tremendous hand they had in the yeshiva and in bringing Rabbi Farber to have all the influence that Reb David Cohen Shlita was talking about. So the Rosh Yeshiva said that no coincidence this week's Parsha, and when he said that I got very nervous because the main theme of the Parsha is the Shira, Az Yoshir. And that's what I want to talk about. And he didn't. So what is the concept of Shira, Az Yoshir? So, Shira, the first thing is that it expresses shleimus. It expresses simcha when a person reaches, or Klal Yisrael reached a level of shleimus. That's why they couldn't say Shira when they left Egypt, because it hadn't yet reached the complete Geula. Shira is when you are in a matzav of shleimus, of fulfillment, of completion. Shira is when you are in a matzav of simcha. But the word Shira also has a number of other meanings. Chazal talk about shir as jewelry, round jewelry. The concept of shir, it implies a circle. It implies something that is whole and complete and continuous. A circle, every point on the circle is equidistant from the center, and there's an idea of nodes, triloso, sofo, betriloso, the fact that there's continuity. That's also the concept of shir and shira. And there's one more word that is related to shira, and that's the word yashar. The idea that shira is straight because yosher is starting from a certain point and going towards that point. And again, it also relates to a circle because you're constantly heading towards the goal. All of these things are the concept of shira. Now, when we think of shira, we think of song, we think of music, we think of exuberance, and we think of Rabbi Farber. His walk exudes music. His smile exudes music. His daily normal activities, every interaction, you feel like you were in a concert, a symphony concert. Because in a symphony, everything is complete. There's tremendous shleimus. I don't need to talk about the simcha that he generates at every chasna, but it's way beyond that. There's another aspect that we need to focus on, and the Rosh Yeshiva mentioned it, and I want to elaborate on it. The Baal Amor, in the introduction to his Perush on Shas, talks about the idea that Nefesh Chaya, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestowed, he was Ma'atzil. I have a good English word for Ma'atzil with an aleph, but he endowed, Rabbi Farber, Ma'atzil. Ma'atzil. What do we say? What's the English word? He bestowed, he gifted us with life. So says the Baal Amor that the real nefesh chaya is kavod. kavod of the human being, the dignity, the honor, the respect of the human being, it comes from the divine element that HaKadosh Baruch Hu shared with us. And Rav Moshe Shapiro speaks many times about how the greatest kavod of the human being is a human being that behaves with sterling midos. The antithesis of kavod is poor midos, selfish and hedonistic and behaving like an animal. That's the degradation of the human being. The kavod of the human being is the human being behaved with elevated, sterling, godlike midos. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says to his Talmidim, "Tzu'uru ezehi derech yeshara sheyidbak ba ha'adam." What is the derech yashar? We have this yashrus, the relationship to simcha. We'll see in a minute what it is. So what is the derech yeshara? And he has this Talmidim giving 4 opinions. And then we get to the 5th opinion. Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, he says, what's the derech yeshara? Leiv tov. Amar lehem roe ani es divrei Elazar ben Arach yesh bichlal dvarav divreichem. Everything that all of the other Talmidim said about good, the derech hayeshara, it's embodied in leiv tov. The gematria of leiv, Maral talks about this in a number of places. The gematria of leiv is kavod. That the idea of kavod is the leiv tov. Rabbi Elazar was a Mayan HaMizgaber in an earlier Mishnah. And the Vilna Gaon in the Pasuk talks about leiv. The Maral also talks about this, that the leiv is the source of our entire life. And the Maral writes, Kasher haleiv hu tov, nimtza hakol bishleimus. The leiv is the force that represents everything that generates the movement, the life, the whole activity of the human being starts in the leiv. And says the Maral, Kishar leiv hu tov, bo nimtza hakol bishleimus. Hein kochos hanafshios, the emotional, intellectual forces, they are bishleimus. Hein hagufnius, the physical forces. We all know Rav Farber as a leiv tov. Everything about him exudes tov. And that's the source for why both in nafshi, emotional, intellectual, as well as physical. I know all of us, we're jealous. We hope that when we're, at the age that he was when he was dancing up a storm at the weddings and walking, unbelievable. That's shleimus gufni. It all comes from the leiv. And says Mishlei Mikol Mishmar Nitzor Libcha. You have to protect your leiv from everything, says the Vilna Gaon, because that's the most precious part. And from the leiv, says the Pasuk, Mimenu Totzos Chayim. Life, the life force comes from the leiv. The leiv is the kavod, and as the Rosh Hashiva mentioned, Rabbi Farber exudes kavod. First of all, kavod for his Rebbe, the Pachad Yitzchak Zatzal, kavod for every Talmud. If you want to know how Rav Farber influenced all of you, it was the kavod, it was the leiv tov, it was the caring, it was the smile, it was the simcha, it was the music that he was always playing in every interaction. There was no instrument, it was his heart, it was his leiv, it was his whole being. And this is if you want to know how you can pass on to your children the Yiddishkeit, the love for Yiddishkeit, the excitement for Yiddishkeit, Rabbi Farber is the role model. You think it was a role model of one thing. He's a role model of the transmission of Torah to our children, b'simcha. And that's clearly how he was zocheh to an unbelievable family of marbitzei Torah, and how he was zocheh to be marbitz Torah to our Talmidim. And we have to express a tremendous appreciation to him. We have a gift, if I can find it, we're going to ask Rabbi Farber to come up and accept the gift as well as say a few words. This is a picture of his Rosh Hashiva. It's a picture of Rav Hutner. I don't think you have. You may have seen the picture. I don't think you have this picture. Okay? And we also, you'll pick up later, there's a book of all the tributes that you have. And
thank you very much. The truth is that I prepared something to speak, but I did not realize that I was going to be the center of the evening. And therefore, I say to Rav Karlinsky and Rav Hirschfeld, thank you very much for everything, for the opportunity to be able to teach Torah for 30 years, more than 30 years. I will remain. Just say thank you. Toda Rabbi. Yasher Koach.
Can't top that. I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for coming from far and from near. What a moving, very special evening. So happy that we could all be a part of it. We wish Rabbi Farber, Arichas Yam, should be Zocha to teach us all and continue to teach us all for many, many years to come, both in your Torah and in your actions. And just a personal thank you for everything that you've done for me and my family. The influence continues to go year after year. I see it in my children. Their love of Torah, their love of living in Eretz Yisrael, and the time that we spent in the yeshiva is all thanks to you and to our other teachers that helped make it such a special experience. So thank you. Yasher Koach.